This says I'm live again. Now, my question is, are we still hearing orders? Or am I done taking orders? My gosh. Unreal. What the heck was I'm telling you, I think YouTube is just trying to do stuff like that to mess with us in the gun community. My I mean, I'm surprised you guys logged back in. You weren't sick of hearing my stupid voice saying orders, orders, orders. That I was getting upset with myself. Okay, where were we at? We were at the STK 200. Well, okay. So like I said, STK 200, fantastic gun. I took some meds. Yeah. I know, right? Yeah. I place those orders, people. Order some guns. Order guns. Order guns. Order guns. Okay. Now I have my phone streaming it, so if that happens again, I might hear it. Okay. STK 200. Fantastic gun, great price point, lots of features, very familiar feeling, yet it feels a little bit better. We'll leave it at that. The next gun we're talking about is a TAC Series TAC Ultra full-size combo. So, those 22 TCM fans, look, if you haven't shot 22 TCM by this point, but you're still following and watching our live streams and stuff like that, I mean, like, what are you waiting for? The TCM is a fantastic round, super fun. I mean, like, tons of fun. So much so that whenever I get a chance, when I have one with me, and I see people that, I don't know, I will ask them if they want to try it. And most times when they try it, they have a blast. Literally. I know it's a weird round. I know that the cost, it's a little bit more than 9mm, but the thing I like about the TAC Ultra full-size combo is that you get that best of both worlds, right? You get the 9mm barrel, but you also get the 22 TCM 9R barrel. Now, let me point this out. The barrel is stamped 22 TCM 9R. You can shoot regular TCM through that barrel. What is different, more than likely, is going to be the magazine. And the magazine that will ship with this gun will probably be a magazine that is a true overall 9mm length magazine versus a standard 9mm magazine that you would buy for a 1911, which is actually 38 Super, right? So if you have standard 9mm 1911 magazines and you buy this gun, then you can run regular TCM or TCM 9R through it. It's really based on the mag. But one of the reasons why we kind of stamped the barrel TCM 9R for this particular setup was we were trying to help eliminate the confusion of people not knowing which bullet to use by having 9R stamped on the 9mm combo kit, if that makes sense. 9R, 9mm, like, oh yeah, I need the 9R. I need the 9R. Like, but you can't shoot regular TCM, okay? It really comes down to the magazine, not necessarily the barrel. I want a TCM barrel for my STK-150. So if you wanted a TCM barrel for your STK-150, you would just want to get one of the conversion kit barrels. Now, let me look online here. Oh, that says it's... So like advancedtactical.com has our Glock conversion kits. So if you wanted a TCM barrel for an STK 150, for example, you just need to get the Glock conversion kit. Advanced Tactical looks like they have some. You're looking for the Glock 17 length, right? 17/22 is what you're looking for, essentially. But that should work in there. So, I'll be looking for that today. Oh, you mean the TAC Ultra? Okay, yeah. So the full size combo. So there's a couple different versions of it that are available. I just like the full size combo version in the single stack orientation or setup. Again, because when I'm talking about trying to have a firearm that multiple people can shoot, I just find that the wide bodies, you know, when you got a junior or a lady shooter or something like that, and they have particularly small hands, those double stacks can be a lot. So I like to go with the single stack version, just because that grip is a little bit thinner, a little bit easier for people with smaller hands to be able to grab and manage. Now, granted, with the TCM, like there's not much to manage. There's no recoil, but the flip side to that is you do have to at least create a solid wall for that gun to recoil against because of how light everything is. You know, if you limp wrist it at all, you can run into issues as far as feeding and stuff like that. So great, fantastic gun for people to learn how to properly grip and apply torque to a firearm to help manage recoil, yet they don't have to beat themselves up all day long with a TCM. So again, real grip strength is an issue. I mean, yes and no, right? Like it's one thing to just like grab onto a gun when you're shooting. It's another thing to grip a gun. The way I try to explain it to people is like, if I gave you a flag on a pole and I told you to hold the flag on a day where there's no wind, you would just grab onto the pole and you would hold it, right? However, if it's a windy day and the flag is blowing and I'm telling you, and I tell you that I want you to hold that pole straight up and down, you can't just grab the pole. Now you're actually having to apply pressure because the wind is blowing the flag one direction and you're having to counteract it with a pressure in the opposite direction, right? And that's kind of what it's like shooting a firearm. It's not just about grabbing the gun and squeezing every ounce of life and energy out of it. It's about applying energy and pressure to the gun in a way that when the recoil does happen, you're already kind of in position to help fight against it, kind of thing, right? So, yeah, I mean, I don't like to say grip strength. Like there was actually a buddy of mine, Hunter Constantine, great, fantastic competition shooter, at SHOT Show. I think it was SHOT Show. He went around and he talked to a bunch of pro shooters or sponsored shooters, top end shooters. Like he came by Armscor and he talked to me, JJ, and Eric Graffel. And he had a grip strength tester and he asked us all to grip it with everything we had, right? So we grip it and we talk about our pressures. 120 pounds, 130 pounds of point pressure, whatever, right? But when we actually gripped the pressure gauge with the same pressure that we actually apply to a firearm when we're shooting, it was only about 60% of what we're capable of. So it's not that we're gripping the snot out of the gun with everything we have. We're gripping it and applying the pressure in the correct way to help manage that recoil, right? And I think the TCM is actually fantastic at really helping someone develop how to properly apply grip pressure and grip strength to a firearm to make sure that it recoils appropriately. So, but again, fantastic gun, and you get both calibers. The ability to shoot both calibers through the exact same platform. The only thing you have to swap out in the barrel and the spring. I mean, what's not to love, right? All right, next one. And this is actually the last one here. So the XT22 Magnum Pro Match. Now, we have another version called the Target, and that comes with iron sights. And that's a great version too. But again, when we're talking about teaching juniors or first-time shooters or anything like that, sometimes it's easier just to put a red dot optic on the top. And the reason I say that, I know some people say, well, finding a red dot is kind of a pain in the butt. And you're right, when you have to learn that process, right? However, when you're talking about teaching someone about the mechanics of shooting and how to properly manipulate the trigger of a firearm, sometimes when you have iron sights and you're trying to teach a brand new shooter, there's so much already going on in their head that on top of everything that they're hearing from you, now they're having to align a front sight and a rear sight, and they think everything has to be perfect. There's just so much visually that's going on that is incorporated into the mental side of shooting that makes for kind of a frustrating shooting experience, right? So when you have a red dot optic, it's pretty simple. Do you see the dot? Yes. Put the dot on the target. Now all they have to worry about is pulling the trigger, because as long as the dot stays on the target, they don't have to worry about, is the front side aligned with the rear side? Is there space between, like it's just the dots on the target. Okay, all I got to do is pull the trigger, right? So that's why I'm going with this option with the railed top. The 22 Magnum is such a fun round. I have never shot one until we started making this gun. It is so much fun. Like if you shot a 22 TCM, then you kind of know what the 22 mag is about. It's almost got the same recoil impulse. Hell, it even almost has like kind of like that same auditory boom that it makes, right? But like, man, it's just so much fun. And when you can put, I think it's 14 rounds in the mag that we make for it, which is proprietary. But I mean, 1911 platform, 14 rounds per magazine, and extremely light shooting recoil. And then you throw a red dot optic on top of it. I mean, that gun is so much fun to shoot. Normally, SHOT Show, we have media day and all that kind of stuff. We normally have that gun out there. I shoot the TCM a lot, but I also shoot the Magnum. Just something about it is just super fun and enjoyable to shoot. Like I said, case in point, it is on the loud side, so make sure your kids are wearing, an appropriate amount of hearing protection. But great gun to shoot. So speaking of competition, can we get RIA to add the STK 150 and STK 200 to the USCA? Yes. So actually, I'm glad you brought that up. I need to make a note. It's funny because Troy McManus from USPSA actually asked me when I was going to send them to him, and they were supposed to have already been sent. So USPSA, STK 150 and 200. Yes, I will get that email going as soon as we are done with this broadcast. And yes, the STK 100 is the only one that is production legal for USPSA right now. We do have something supposed to be in the works. We'll see how long it takes to come to fruition, but it's something that I think a lot of us will be happy about and excited about in the competition world. But yeah, I mean, so that's pretty much the gist of it, man. That I'm sorry again that the whole orders thing took place. I'm glad we finally got it figured out, although everyone had to jump to another stream. So again, sorry about that, but agreed. Love my STK 150. Plan to test it out for CO. Yeah, I should probably practice way more with a red dot than I do after World Shoot. I do have to stick to iron sights right now, but afterwards, I do think I'm probably going to have to dabble a little bit more in the carry optics world. It seems to be, we just got done shooting Factory Gun Nationals down there in Ohio, and like, Christ, I think 70% of the match was for carry optics, and the other 30 was for single stack, production, and revolver. Like, insane. It seems that if you want to see how you're doing against top shooters, you got to be playing carry optics right now. So, hey, stuff happens. You solved it. Yes, it does. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. That's what I was told, right? So, well, here, what I'm going to do is that, I mean, like I said, that was kind of the last firearm that we talked about. So, 5.0E, brand new, RIA USA, kind of our top tier line of firearms that you can expect coming from that side of our company. We've got the GI entry for those of you that maybe are just starting to get into firearms. Great price point for a really solid performer. Then we got the STK 200. G19 size, G19 features, but aluminum framed, a little bit nicer to shoot. 1911 grip angle, so there's not that silly grip angle the Glock makes. Red dot ready, flat face trigger. I mean, I love flat face triggers. If you look at my single stack 1911s that I've been shooting for years and years and years, they all have flat face triggers in them. I can't get enough of them. Nothing against our curved face trigger, but again, my personal preference, I like flat. Then you've got our TCM combo series, right? So it comes as a 9mm with TCM 9R barrel. I mean, TCM's just fun as hell to shoot. And then, of course, our XT22 Magnum. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of leave the floor open for any other questions. Here, I'm going to stop streaming this. There is one more thing I'm going to point out here. Let me get it pulled up. But in the meantime, if anyone has any questions or anything like that, XT Pro Match doesn't seem to be in stock. Lots of places, more detail. You know, I'll have to ask. I since I got out of the sales side, I don't know what's going on much with the sales world. But I mean, I think that they should be. I mean, they're very easy to sell, I think. So this is going to be the last thing we're going to talk about here. Well, it's not the last thing. I mean, obviously, if anyone has any questions, feel free to hit me up about it. But armscor.com/promotions. If you go to there, so it's right there, firearms, and you go to promotions here in the bottom. These are promotional deals that we have taking place right now. So we've talked about the SDK 100, 150, and the 200. Right now, if you purchase a 100, a 150, or a 200, and this promotion runs until December of 2025, so it's to the end of the year, you can get a free 30-round plus magazine. I don't know why they say a 30-round plus magazine. It's either, I'm going to assume that's the 33-rounder. But that is a promotion available for you as the consumer right now. So if you buy an SDK 100, 150, or 200, you can rock one of those very, very big extended magazines for it. And right now, get 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 9-round magazines if you purchase a VR80. And again, that promotion runs from January to December. Once you purchase the firearm, all you got to do is come here to this page and you fill out this form with all of your information. And then once we receive it, we can get that those promotional items shipped out to you. So great opportunity for you guys to be able to get a bunch of little aftermarket parts and stuff for some of the firearms that we have available. I figured the SDK 150 is compatible with Glock 3 Gen internals, but wanted to be sure. So what I would say is that there's probably about 80% compatibility. And the reason I say that is because it's not a Glock, right? Glock parts are made for Glocks. SDK is kind of pretty much like a Glock, but it's not exactly, right? So there probably is enough variance or that's what I'm looking for. I mean, there's probably enough play that's available where you more than likely the ability to drop and go, like just put a part in it and run and you're off to the races, is probably pretty high. But I'm not going to say it's 100% because I don't know. Every part, especially with aftermarket parts, they tend to try and make aftermarket parts. I'm having a hard time talking right now. They tend to make aftermarket parts a little bit more oversized or a little bit tighter fitting because they want to help increase accuracy or reliability or whatever the purpose is that they want to try and market, right? So when you're talking about dropping parts into a gun, especially like with Glock, majority of the time, yes, it is just, drop and go. But there is always that chance that something doesn't quite fit right from the start. So what I will say is I do have an SDK 200, like I said. I do have a threaded barrel that is in my G19. that I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but I do plan on going to the range, and I'm going to swap those barrels and see if that runs just from dropping it in the gun. So there are some things that I will be testing personally with my STK200 to test. One of the other things I do actually want to test is I want to try and see about getting maybe like a CMC or a Timney trigger or something like that for the Glock platform, and see if that will drop and play, or if it's, again, one of those things that requires a little bit of fitment. But there is, like I said, there is the possibility that not every part is going to fit flawlessly. So that comes with a little asterisk, right? I'll say about 80% of the time, 80% of the time, it's going to work every time, right? Yes, tolerances. Thank you. Yes, that was the word I was looking for. See, here I was trying to sound smart, and I ended up looking like Biden. Sounding. I don't look like Biden. I sounded like Biden there. So, staying on the SDK series, any chance of a PDT or so? I think. I want to say, I think it's CNH makes a plate for the STK in the Delta Point Pro footprint. What I would say is because the STK 200, for me personally, because it's more of the compact size firearm meant for not meant for, but it's what I use it for, CCW. Like, I don't have an issue because it's an RMSC footprint for the Vortex Defender CCW red dot. However, if you wanted to run the ST or the XL Defender red dot series, then yeah, I think CNH is the company that you would want to go to try and find a plate for the STK line. And I'm not sure if anyone else makes a plate series. So I'll probably have to ask that. If you want to shoot me an email and ask that question, I can forward it on and see if we can get you a much more detailed explanation, or maybe even some links to those plates. But yeah, I know as far as what we're shipping it with, Armor and RMSC are kind of the go-to. I'm curious why they went with the Delta Point Pro footprint for the ST and the XL. I'm sure had something to do with the design of where all the electronics go and how the housing was built, but it's a question that's above my pay grade. But tool and die maker for decades here. Well, there you go. How about a plate for the 22 TCM and 9mm? I think that is something that's in the works with RIA USA. So for those that don't know, Rock Island Armory USA, we make the 5.0E, we make the 5.0 standard, we make the VRPFs and all this kind of fun stuff. We did recently come out with the AOS line of pistols from RIA USA, which are essentially a couple of the TAC Ultras in 9mm, 10mm, and 45 ACP high cap models that run the AOS red dot system. And I think the next thing we were planning on tooling up for was to make the 9mm and 22 TCM versions out of RIA USA. So, yes, but just not yet. Sorry, Wayne. we're trying. When you got all these projects that everyone wants to do a bunch of projects, but you've only got so much machine time and resources and manpower and money to go into making these projects a reality. But yes, it is something that is in the works. Question will just be a matter of not if, or it'll just be a matter of when. So, all right, well, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. We're reaching just about the hour mark. I know we lost a little bit of time because of the orders. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for the great questions and comments. I really do appreciate it. And hey, if anyone has any questions, concerns, comments that they think about after this broadcast is over, shoot me an email. John McClain at armscor.com. JohnMcclain. Not quite like Die Hard, but close. At armscor.com. Shoot me them, and I'll be more than happy to try and get you an answer if I can. And I earned you a free mag. I forgot to. Well, there you go. Yes. That's what I'm here for, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, thank you so much. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Kick this week's butt. Hit Monday hard and don't stop hitting until Friday, and then keep hitting Saturday and Sunday too, because, you know, what the hell. And stay tuned. We will have another Armscor U. I will be planning on getting these back on schedule. So there will be one next month, and September will be an interesting one. I look forward to doing the Armscor U in September because that'll be around World Shoot. And hey, you can ask me all the questions you want about how World Shoot went. So with the 5.0E. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much. Again, I am John McClain with Armscor U, and I'll see you on the next one.